At 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Thanks for joining us on the Nightbeat. If you've been celebrating the official kickoff of college football, you've likely seen the rain here in San Antonio.
I know we've been in between the football games going on here at the station. We've heard the thunder, and it's really narrowed down, JP, to about a few neighborhoods, specifically areas of Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills. If you draw a line between 410, I-35, and even 281, that's kind of that area where we're watching this heavy rainfall. We're already seeing reports of some light, isolated street flooding, mostly on Broadway in areas where they're used to seeing that heavy rainfall just sit and having some light puddles on the sides of the roads. But here's a look at the rain totals over the last 12 hours just in this area alone, as we've continued to see the quick little downpours move through areas over the last few hours. Just along I-35, we've seen about 2 inches of rain just near Terrell Hills, near Rittiman, about 1.5 inches. If we go up near that Target on Austin Highway, they've received about 1/2 inch of rain or so. So we're continuing to see the rain move through. And even as I zoom out here and look at the radar and look at the bigger picture, this is all associated with that weak frontal boundary system, not the one that's moving through tomorrow, but just an outflow boundary, basically the breath and the exhaust from this thunderstorm moving through. And as we go throughout the last 30 minutes or so, that one little thunderstorm has continued to weaken, and it will continue to weaken over the next hour or so, but we'll continue to keep you updated. But we have more rain on the way tomorrow, JP. I'll talk about what you need to know coming up in just a bit.
Looking forward to it, Shelby. Tonight, a teenager is in the hospital after being bitten by a dog at Harlandale Park this afternoon. The culprit, a man's aggressive pit bull, and now Animal Care Services is on the lookout for both dog and owner. Night Team's Aria Oates was there as police were on scene and spoke to the young man who was attacked.
He almost bit one of my kids, so.
A scary scene at Harlandale Park. Boys were playing basketball and this family was celebrating a birthday when witnesses say a pit bull got aggressive.
He was sitting under the table and he almost bit one of my brothers.
A close call for Angel's brother, but an unexpected hospital visit for Francisco Santos.
It ran towards me and it bit me in my private part.
Francisco was on his way to the outdoor basketball courts to play with these guys when he says a random pit bull attacked him.
It all happened fast.
We're speaking with Francisco on a video call because after the bite, he called for help. Police, Animal Care Services, and an ambulance showed up. They took him to an emergency room downtown, and he's expected to be okay. But he says something does need to be done about the dog.
Away from the kids at the park, because, something worse can happen to the little kids.
Animal Care Services says they are investigating, but they have not found the dog.
The guy that was here, he took off with it, way over there. They left, act like nothing happened.
People who were at the park shared these descriptions of the dog with me.
Big black pit bull.
The dog's color skin, it looks like black and white.
And all of them say the dog was aggressive.
And every time someone would walk by, it just barks and barks.
It did sound very aggressive.
ACS is still working on the investigation. As we learn more, we'll update you on air and online. Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
And a now former KIPP University Prep High School assistant teacher is facing charges tonight for indecency with a child. This is 27-year-old Priscilla Castro. According to an arrest affidavit, a student told police that Castro engaged in inappropriate behavior that made them uncomfortable. The affidavit adds Castro allegedly tried to continuously call the student through blocked phone numbers, and she even happened to call during the student's interview with police. KIPP Texas Public Schools gave this statement saying, in part, quote, "We terminated the teacher's employment at KIPP Aspire. We will cooperate fully with the police investigation and work with the criminal justice system to seek the greatest consequences possible," end quote. Castro is now charged with indecency with a child, sexual contact. A man on a moped is fighting for his life after police say he was involved in a crash. This happened just after 1 a.m. at the intersection of Fulton Street and Blanco Road. That's on the north side of town. San Antonio police tell us that the driver hit a curb and was thrown from the vehicle. He was rushed to the hospital, and at last check, he's still in critical condition. A 25-year-old cold case now has a suspect behind bars. This is 66-year-old Saul Gonzalez. He is said to be responsible for a 2005 murder in Cotulla. That's according to the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office. On July July 19, 2005, the body of Valerie Laguna, who was pregnant at the time, was found at Cristo Rey Cemetery. The Texas Department of Public Safety said Laguna was sexually assaulted, beaten, and strangled. Her unborn baby also died. Gonzalez was arrested without incident by Texas Rangers, and he's charged with capital murder. LaSalle County grand jury indicted Gonzalez yesterday. He was booked and has a $1 million bond. A judge has dismissed a Southwest Airlines lawsuit against the city of San Antonio. Southwest argued that the city had penalized the airline for not providing certain amenities like a club lounge, which contributed to the airline being excluded from Terminal C. But Judge Xavier Rodriguez disagreed and granted the city's motion to dismiss the lawsuit. If you've been downtown, you might have already seen the costumes and/or the crowds of people in interesting attire. The reason for that is San Japan, South Texas' biggest anime and gaming convention. And with that emphasis on Japanese culture comes tariff prices on Japanese goods. Devin Karp spoke to those trying to navigate the global economy while also keeping collectors and fans here at home happy.
It's sick, man. So first up, who are you guys coming in as? Who are you cosplaying?
She is cosplaying as Godzilla, and I am doing Mothra.
I'm cosplaying as Hasumi Miku.
Yeah.
She's a Vocaloid character from Japan.
So I'm Waldo today. Gonna see how many people say who found me.
No doubt about it, there's a lot of creativity coming out of this year's San Japan Anime Convention. What are y'all excited about for going in there with?
Mainly the vendors, meeting some voice actors.
At least coming from a small town, we don't have a lot of like these big exciting stores for like anime and whatnot. So it's nice to be able to be like, I can find stuff that I've been hunting for.
So the way pack battle works is we're going to open the pack, all right? And we're going to see who gets the best hit, okay?
But it also takes creativity from vendors near and far to bring the goods customers demand while paying for rising tariff costs.
Pokemon, it has doubled, tripled, quadrupled in price. For a lot of regular stores, it has been almost a challenge for us.
It makes it really difficult, and right now we're eating most of the tariff costs. Like, we mostly eat a lot of the shipping tariffs in general, and I've just been trying to keep it level, so our profit margin is even less than it normally is.
On Friday, President Trump ended the de minimis tariff exemption, which let shipments worth less than $800 come into the U.S. tariff-free. But for now, the deal is off for the whole globe.
Yeah, the tariffs have been a nightmare. Specifically, I know currently after the most recent change, we've had a lot of shippers they're not shipping to us anymore from Japan. They're on hold indefinitely until the tariff situation gets figured out.
Drake, I'm a collector. Like, I'm seeing it too, and I'm like, no, why?
But local demand has some owners hopeful for this convention and grateful for a community that says it wants to support them.
And a lot of times it's like, again, the local artists and local shop owners, I would rather pay a little higher to help them out versus buying it online.
Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Devin Karp, the young Jedi there with a lightsaber. Also, I've seen this story a few times already, and I want to point out, if you didn't notice it, Devin has a Pokemon tie.
Oh, yeah.
And he obviously wore it on a great occasion for this convention tonight.
Absolutely. And even outside, we're still seeing the light rain move through areas of San Antonio. It is weakening, but I'll continue to keep you updated coming up after the break.
Still ahead, Hurricane Katrina forced many to flee their homes and come here to San Antonio, while many say the Alamo City became their new home. And new details tonight about what led up to a deadly shooting inside a Minneapolis Catholic school, what investigators say they've learned. Next. Tonight, we're learning new details about the events that led up to the deadly shooting inside of a Minneapolis Catholic school. 2 children were killed and more than a dozen others injured. ABC's Chuck Sievertson has the latest.
A terrifying scene inside the Annunciation Church as parishioners and students are seen running for cover, diving into the pews as the chaos unfolded. One person heard asking, "Where's the shooter? Where's the shooter?" 2 children, 10-year-old Harper Moisky and 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel, killed while praying inside the sanctuary. 18 others were injured, 15 of them children. The Minneapolis community remembering the students.
Please remember Fletcher for the person he was and not the act that ended his life.
Investigators now working to determine why the 23-year-old suspect targeted students inside the church. A search warrant obtained by ABC News reveals the killer's father told police his child recently broke up with their significant other and was living with a friend at the time of the attack. Police confirming they have been in contact with the killer's mother, but won't say if she is cooperating.
There has been conversation, and I am not at liberty to go any further than that.
Among the survivors, 13-year-old Andre Gunter, shot in the stomach and hospitalized. His aunt stating he has showed strength and faith beyond his years. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News, New York.
So we saw some heavy downpours here in the downtown area that have since kind of fizzled out, but we also have more rain chances tomorrow afternoon into the evening.
Yeah, so we've been talking about the last few days that there was the chance for a little bit of inconvenient weather for the Labor Day weekend. And here's the first little bit. We were talking about some isolated pop-ups that many saw in the Hill Country today. And this was the one that got closer to San Antonio. It's been sitting over Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, basically 281, 410, and even down to 35. That's kind of the outline of where we saw this storm really start to just sit. And this is a loop of the last 30 minutes. It's continued to weaken immensely, and we're not even tracking really any rain or any lightning, I should say, associated with this. I'll pause this here just now and take a look at the rainfall totals over the last 12 hours in just this area alone, where you see the yellow colors just near the Frostbank Stadium, near Salado Junction. That yellow color, that's where you get that 2 inches or more for the rainfall totals. Up on Broadway, we got reports from our very own reporters, Aria Oates, about some light street flooding, talking about some large puddles. So if you are going out and about tonight, leaving some college football get-togethers, be careful if you're in this area. And here's a look at a KSAT Connect picture. This was near Perrin Bidle and 1,000 Oaks as that heavy downpour from about 2 hours ago when the sun was still up, of where you could see how isolated that downpour was. Clear where they were taking the picture, but if you go just a few miles over or a few blocks over even, that's where we were seeing the heavy rainfall that did continue to expand to what we then ended up seeing. Now here's a look at the future cast. Over the next few hours, that little pop-up will continue to diminish, but then we start to see another chance. Tomorrow morning, you're waking up, just normal, maybe light shower activities. And then tomorrow afternoon, that stationary front that's still just to the north, that's where we're tracking that chance for the chance of and potential of these strong thunderstorms. Now, not only are they thunderstorms, but as that front moves down tomorrow afternoon, that's where we can see the heavy downpour, similar to today, but a little on the stronger side and a little more widespread, about a 60% chance of these storms moving through tomorrow afternoon into the evening. And we're talking about maybe 2 p.m. to about 9 or 10 p.m. And even then, after sunset, this is midnight already. There is still that chance that we have that final push of these showers and thunderstorms moving through Monday morning, early Monday morning. So some folks might have a little bit of a wet morning commute Monday morning, as there's still another chance of any reactivity starting to spark. And if we see any more showers activity on Monday afternoon, it will be after we see these showers and storms finally push through. But that's going to be Sunday. Like I mentioned, about 2 p.m. is when we could start to see some of these thunderstorms, and they can go until about midnight tomorrow night. Now, we do have that slight and that marginal risk for these thunderstorms to produce the heavy isolated localized flooding and even some light flash flood risks. We'll continue to keep you updated, and this is going to be a situation we call nowcasting, where the models aren't necessarily predicting it the best way, so we really will know once the storms actually start. And I'll be here, Sarah Spivey will be here in the morning, and we'll continue to keep you updated. And then quieter and, guys, less humid during the week.
Less humid is, I know, music to all of our ears. My curls, I just couldn't do it. I don't know about you guys.
No, I agree.
Frizzy hair,
no,
but there's not enough product in the world, you know?
Yeah, I know the struggle.
Shifting gears, you have some Texas A&M connections and ties, correct?
Yes.
A&M fans are obviously happy, but if you look at the scoreboard, it could be deceiving because the Roadrunners gave them quite the scare for the first half and even part of the second half.
Yeah, and specifically the efforts of Robert Henry II. He tore it up, had a monster game in Aggieland. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, but look at him hitting the money Manziel in Arch Manning's highly anticipated debut. Ball's a bit flat. We'll show you the highlights from Columbus and more college and high school football after the break. A top 3 matchup to kick off college football Saturday as Arch Manning in Texas visits the Horseshoe to take on Julian Sayin in Ohio State. Opening drive, Texas turns the ball over on downs as C.J. Baxter is stuffed. Score remains 0-0. Ensuing drive, Buckeyes going for it on 4th down now, but Sayin's pass goes off the hands of tight end Max Clare. Some early jitters in this game. Second quarter, another Ohio State 4th down conversion attempt, but this time C.J. Donaldson, he powers across the goal line, and the Buckeyes up 7-0 at the half.
Manning looks like they're going to do the tush push, and they don't get in.
Manning stuffed on the QB sneak. Still third quarter, the offensive woes continue for Texas as Manning sails a pass, and it's picked off by Jermaine Matthews Jr., and it was only a matter of time. OSU turns the takeaway into points. Sayin launches the deep ball to Carnell Tate, and he makes the juggling catch for the 40-yard score. 14-0 Buckeyes. All right, under 4 to play in the 4th. This is where Manning has previously thrived, and the sophomore connects with Parker Livingston for the 32-yard touchdown to make it a one-possession game. However, the story of the 4th downs ultimately settles this game for the Longhorns on their final drive. 14-7, the final from Columbus in favor of the defending champions. And you see the stats there on your screen. Neither quarterback played exceptionally well. Here's what Arch had to say after the game.
Ultimately not good enough. Obviously you don't want to start off the season 0-1. They're a good team, but I thought we beat ourselves a lot, and that starts with me, and I got to play better for us to win. Can't wait till the second half to kind of get things going. Anytime it was 4th and inches at the goal line, we got to have those, and I got to make more of a push because that was a big swing in the game.
Out in Aggieland, UTSA looking to turn some heads against 19th ranked Texas A&M in their week 1 bout. First 3 drives went punt, punt, punt. It would have been a 4th, but KC Concepcion decides he'll make a house call on the punt return. He takes it across midfield and wins the foot race on the outside. It's 7-0 Aggies. Second quarter, A&M up 14-3. And after a big couple of receptions by David Amador II from lefty QB Owen McCown, Robert Henry Jr. cashes in. He takes the handoff, makes one defender miss, and it turns on the burners. Wow. And wait for the celly. Henry hits the money Manziel in front of the crowd. Love it. All right, out of halftime, Roadrunners down 11. First play of the half, and Henry, absolutely impossible to bring down. The 5'9" senior from Mississippi takes it 75 yards to pay dirt to make it a 3-point ball game. Although the Aggies took over from there. The final 42 A&M, 24 UTSA. Final stats there on your screen. Marcel Reed had a career high 4 touchdowns for the Aggies. Now this is what we were waiting for. Southside High School alum and now starting quarterback for UIW, slinging it in the Cardinals home opener. Richard Torres unloads the cannon for a 75-yard scoring strike to Jamison Garcia. It was an eventful second quarter, 38 total points scored. Western Michigan had the edge in that frame. Let's go to the final score. UIW defeated Eastern Washington 31-21. All right, more scores around college football. After a long weather delay, Texas Tech currently up 61-0 on Arkansas Pine Bluff. Texas State overwhelms Eastern Michigan 52-27. And check this out, UTRGV wins their inaugural game 66-0. Former Roadrunner Eddie Lee Marburger was 18 of 19, 365 yards and 5 touchdowns. Gustafson Stadium tonight, home to the Backyard Brawl. It's one of the biggest rivalry games in town. Even the mayor was in attendance. Friendly foes, Jay and Holmes, battling for the bragging rights. The score is 21-7 in favor of Jay when we got there. Third quarter, Holmes Jr. QB Jaden Hopkins lofts a pass to David Ramirez III. And what an impressive high IQ piece of running from Ramirez. He bounces to the outside and gets into the end zone for the touchdown. The Huskies made it 21-14 with that drive. And it was a rainy end to the game. John Jay would stay on top and claim the Backyard Brawl victory 28-14. And up at Ferris Stadium, still in a lightning delay, but right now, as it stands, Harlan leads East Central 41-26. How about that? The first college football Saturday and high school football Saturday of the year.
We were a little delayed tonight, obviously, but
yes,
I'm just so glad that we can watch football in the meantime.
Yes,
Thank
agreed.
You, Mary. All right, still ahead. Keeping kids in sports can be expensive, but one man's program is making those programs accessible. Like Kenneth Dixon says, his program is so important. And 20 years ago, many people fled Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina and found their way here. Many remained here in the Alamo City all these years later. Next. Welcome back. 20 years ago, Hurricane Katrina made landfall in New Orleans and devastated the area. More than 100,000 evacuees came to Texas, and tens of thousands of them stayed here in San Antonio. Our Sarah Acosta spoke with two families who tell their stories of survival and why they decided to call the Alamo City home.
The power lines was underwater. No rooftops, no nothing. It was right in the middle of the Gulf. So I was like, just, in my mind, I was like, nobody's alive. Whoever's in the house is dead, 100%.
The wind was so strong, it would literally move your car over and other people's cars, and the kids are screaming. It was a nightmare.
Rodney Boisley and Angela Williams recall the day Katrina hit New Orleans in 2005. Both lost their homes. Rodney had to stay because he was working at one of the hospitals. They lost power after the first day. They moved all the patients and everyone on the roof for 5 days. Lots of people died.
Having those patients pass away and then having to shake that feeling off and then grab this body and take this body over to an area and put multiple bodies in that one area. The mental state you have to be in to just to do that, to just shake it off.
It was dark, hot, and they only had water, no food, just waiting to be rescued.
On the third day, I was able to call my wife and let her know that I was at least alive for just a short moment. And that was a very emotional call.
On the fifth day, the Air Force rescued them. He was bused to Houston, where he finally reunited with his wife and 2 young children. They then found refuge here in San Antonio because he had an uncle at Lackland Air Force Base. Angela was able to evacuate with her then 3 kids under 10, but it was finding a safe place for weeks after that was hard.
13 of us in one motel room, not a hotel, but a motel room.
Angela says it was her faith that brought her to San Antonio.
And I just heard from God, call your brother. And the phone worked, and I called him, and he was just so grateful to hear my voice. And he's like, Angela, leave right now and come down here, come to my house. We'll take care of you. 703.
Angela now owns 2 Christian bookstores and is a pastor. Rodney continues to work in the medical field and DJs on the side. Both have homes here where their children grew up and thrived. Both say they stayed because it was the people.
People were collecting money and they had no idea who I was. It was just a story they heard, and so they just wanted to give. And I think that's a very rare thing to find. And so how do you leave that? How do you walk away from that? I love Louisiana, I'll always love it, but San Antonio is now home.
That was Sarah Acosta reporting, and several new laws will go into effect on Monday, including changes to the state school system. KSAT's Madeline Lambert tells us what changes to expect.
Public and private schools are expected to see major changes this school year. The latest Texas laws passed in the 89th legislative session include a school voucher program and dedicated prayer time. Here's a roundup of the new laws to help you keep track of what's changing. Let's start with the school voucher program. Senate Bill 2 will set aside $1 billion in taxpayer money over the next 2 years to fund education savings accounts. That's money parents can use to send their kids to private school. School board members will need to decide if they want to adopt a period of prayer time or study time. If a school district adopts a prayer period, students and guardians will need to sign a consent form. A new Texas law will ban diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI policies and programs in K-12 schools. The ban will also include training and programs on those topics unless they are required by federal law. This is just a quick look of the many laws that are going into effect on September 1st. If you want to see the full list, you can head over to KSAT.com. For now, I'm Madeline Lambert, KSAT 12 News.
However, one thing that isn't likely to make it to the governor's desk this special session is a state ban on most THC products. Senate Bill 6 is the third attempt by state lawmakers and is now held up in the House. A ban made it all the way to the Governor Abbott's desk during the regular session, but was vetoed. And join us for the 12th annual Head for the Cure 5K on September 27th. This is a special event dedicated to raising awareness for funds for brain cancer research. It's also a race that is near to our hearts as it honors our late news director, Jim Boyle. The race starts at 8 a.m. right outside of our KSAT studios at Providence Catholic School. Don't miss a chance to be a part of an incredible cause. Register now and use the QR code on your screen to get $7 and the code CURE, to get $7 off of your registration fee. New Braunfels got hit with weather on July 5th, which shut down the river for most of the July 4th weekend. This as devastation ripped throughout Kirk County. Now, one business owner tells us although they appreciate people trying to let those along the rivers heal, they still need revenue.
So you think there was a stigma, people didn't want to be enjoying themselves on a river?
Or they didn't want to share that they were enjoying themselves. But I think things have changed now. I think we're back in the saddle and we're ready for a big Labor Day weekend.
Tubing outfitters here stay open into October, but Labor Day weekend is one of the last times to make a splash. Still ahead, he's trying to keep local youth off the streets and on the playing field. Patty Santos introduces us to Kenneth Dixon next.